Greetings, Earthlings! Welcome to another nerd-tastic episode of Urban Nerd Weekly. Today is Tuesday, July the 2nd, and it's episode 9 of season 3. Thanks for tuning in again with us, you guys. On today's Nerd News Update, rapper and king of all internet trolls, Lil Nas X has revealed to the public that he is gay. The iPhone designer is leaving Apple after over a decade. Spider-Man Far From Home has fans in a frenzy at the mid and end credits alone. Today's digital download is jam-packed as usual, so tune in, nerd out, to today's episode of Urban Nerd Weekly.
Hey, it's your boy Spaceship, man. I got a new podcast out I want y'all to subscribe to, bro. It's called Urban Nerd Weekly, available on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play Music. My
back up in the shit. Hide your snacks and cup your bitch. I'm about to hit the stick, so go and follow me on Twitch. Now watch me crank that herb. Now watch me crank that herb. Watch me crank that herb. Now watch me crank that herb.
Hey, what's happening? It's your boy Spaceman. Welcome to yet another episode of Urban Nerd Weekly, man. I'm so glad you guys tuned in, man. I don't know why I started talking like that. You ever just like mess up a word and then you just try to lean into that shit with an accent that you didn't plan on using before? That's what just happened. Alright, so I'm glad you guys tuned in. Like I said, man, I love when you guys tune in. I'm loving that the fanship is showing more people are tuning in and nerding out with us, you guys. So that means that you guys are, what you guys are doing to help is working. So please continue to let people know about the show. Urban Nerd Weekly is the name. Talking about nerd shit is the game. We do this nerd drip splash, bitch. What's happening? No, I'm just playing. But for real though, do definitely tell. I said do definitely tell people about the show. As a matter of fact, if you want to let them know, you can just repeat what I'm about to say, and that is you can find me on the big three. Well, actually, not me. First off, if you want to look for the show, you could definitely like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram. Make sure you hit both of those pages up. We're going to be bringing a lot more nerd news updates to the Instagram page, and we're going to be doing a lot more like discussion type shit on the Facebook page. So make sure you guys definitely hit those up if you're fans of the show. That's how we get the community bustling. Also, make sure you guys subscribe to the show on all the available platforms, that being Apple Podcasts, because iTunes is dead now. Google Podcasts, even though you could still listen to it on Google Play. If you have Google Play, you can just check it out on there. But if you have the new if you have new Android update as of like 3 months ago, it has Google Podcasts as an app. If it did not automatically download to your phone and you didn't feel like downloading it, you can still go to Google Play, search Urban Nerd Weekly, and we will pop up as one of the podcasts. You can also check us out on Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn. We got a couple of episodes on YouTube, though they're not in order. And, it's just, it's YouTube, so it's kind of like just, the picture of the show and the audio. So, however you like to listen to podcasts, we will be coming to Spotify and iHeartRadio very soon. It's really just a matter of me, dotting a couple of I's and crossing some T's, but I got to make sure all my ducks in a row before I dot I's and cross T's. So, almost on Spotify, almost on iHeartRadio. So make sure you guys like, subscribe, and comment on the show. Everything you think, like, love, dislike, whatever you got a feeling for. Make sure you let us know on all the available platforms so that the show can grow like it is right now. And more people could be turned on to the nerding out that we do, the nerdening. Ooh. We might have to do something like that, the nerdening, like the happening, or like the human being or some shit like that. Like we should do the nerding. I think they call it Comic-Con, which is... that should be coming soon, right? I think we talked about that a couple episodes ago, but either way, we're going to talk about it again soon if you missed that so far. But not on this episode, but very, very, very soon. Also, you can find me, if you're curious, on the big three social media sites, that being Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at Space Was Here, SPAYCEWUZHERE. And if you add a .com to that is how you find the address to my website, to where you can log in and check out all of my skits, videos, parody songs, all things related to me as the comedian and podcast host Spaceship, as well as that is the quickest way to sign up to get free merch from the show, because as I told you guys before, we got t-shirts, we got coffee mugs, we got iTunes gift cards, or Apple Music probably gift cards. See, Apple is fucking up how I market my show by changing all this shit so swiftly. But yeah, we're gonna be giving away free shit. So, and the fastest way to get that free shit is to sign up on spacewhat'shere.com. Also, check out the biggest help to the podcast ever known to man, Miss Nano Kitty Cat. You can find her on Instagram at nano_kitty_cat. Please play nice or else you get, well, I won't tell you, because then if something happens, they're gonna fucking come looking for my ass. But play nice. Just one last reminder before we get the show rolling. I do have a new parody song out called Back Snacking Again, which is a parody to Back at It Again, a song by Yellow Beezy featuring Quavo of the Migos and Mr. 1017 himself, Gucci Mane, who also just released an album called Delusions of Grandeur. So if you guys haven't checked that out, please check it out on your music streaming or music downloading app of preference. And that is all for my promo spiel today. We're gonna get right on into things. First things first, today's nerd news update. First piece of nerd news is Lil Nas X has revealed to the public that he is gay. And he chose to do so by getting on his Twitter page, and he posted up a clip of the video for the song Closure off his recently released EP called 7. And it featured a scene of a little black kid, and he's at a dinner table, and there's two sets of adults sitting there arguing at the table, and the kid gets upset and he jumps through the ceiling, and when he lands, he's on the beach chilling, getting a drink handed to him, smiling. And I don't have a fucking clue what that has to do with being gay, outside of the fact that that's probably something that commonly happens, like at the dinner table when the kid is like gay or whatever, and the parents are not in agreement about how to handle the shit. That's the only... Like, I had to sit there and watch that video like 30 times to even draw that conclusion from it. And then the way he did it was he posted a tweet. And it says, some of y'all already know. Some of y'all don't care. Some of y'all not gonna fuck with me no more. But before this month ends, I want y'all to listen closely to Closure, which is a song, like I said, off of his 7 EP. And like I said, I watched the video. I listened to the lyrics. If he hadn't put a fucking rainbow in the tweet, I wouldn't have even known that's what he was saying, that he was gay. I mean, outside of the fact that it was a rainbow in the tweet and he was like, before the end of the month, which last month was Pride Month. You know what I mean? Because here's the thing. I felt like he knew it wasn't that obvious, because if he did, you know, people would have like kind of called it out after the EP came out and after the Panini video came out, which he also took screenshots of the video from the Panini video, and it actually does reveal there is rainbows all over the motherfucker. So he was like, I thought I made it real obvious. And here's the funny part. It didn't, like, nobody's mad or anything. But it is kind of ironic that, of course, you know, Twitter reacted, because that's one of the things I do like about Lil Nas X is that he's still kind of holding it down for like those of us that still like to get on Twitter a lot, because he doesn't have, like, his Twitter page is where I see most of his shit. I don't see him on Instagram as much. But yeah, like the first thing that most people did, nobody was outraged that he's gay or nobody's against it. It was just kind of funny that the first thing they associated with, well, he wrote Old Town Road about riding until he can't no more. What was he talking about riding? Well, he likes horses. He really likes horses. Like, I know you want to instantly go for the gay joke. Believe me, it was obvious to me as well, but he really just likes horses. You know, and it does kind of explain why the fuck the video for Old Town Road is so fucking weird and gaudy and shit. But yeah, man, shout out to Lil Nas X for living his truth. And he doesn't seem like the type of guy that was like in the closet. That's why I had to record the intro a couple times, because I kept saying he came out of the closet. But I don't like saying that about like entertainers and shit, because for all we know, everybody that knows them already knows that they're gay. So at that point, you're not really in the closet. But however, this guy did recently just get famous. So it would make sense as to why people wouldn't immediately know that, you know, he was gay unless he said something directly. And yes, there were memes galore, fucking jokes galore all over Twitter. But the biggest part of the story is that Lil Nas X has, comfortably revealed to, the world that he likes things a little different. And we commend him for that. So shout out to Lil Nas X, man. And our next story for today, Jony Ive, the designer of the Apple iPhone, is leaving Apple after over a decade. However, according to the WallStreetJournal.com, his departure has started a long time ago. The design chief helped create some of the world's best-known products, but grew distant as the company shift focus under CEO Tim Cook. Now, this article is by Trip Mickle, published on June 30th, 2009. As the deadline loomed for the 10th anniversary of iPhone, Apple Inc.'s top software designers gathered in a penthouse of an exclusive San Francisco club called The Battery. They had been summoned some 50 miles from the company's Cupertino, California headquarters to demonstrate planned features of the product to Jony Ive, Apple's design chief, who seldom came to the office anymore from his San Francisco home. For nearly 3 hours on that afternoon in January 2017, the group of about 20 designers stood around waiting for Mr. Ive to show. According to people familiar with the episode, I guess they're saying people who were knowing about that day or whatever. After he arrived and listened to the presentations, he left without ruling on their key questions, leaving attendees frustrated. Many of us were thinking, how did it come to this? Said a person at the meeting. There was a sense Johnny was gone but reluctant to hand over the reins. The episode was emblematic of a widened disconnect at the top of Apple that is invisible outside the company was eroding the product magic created by Mr. Ive and the late Steve Jobs that helped turn Apple into America's preeminent corporation. Now, Apple announced Thursday that Mr. Ive would leave later this year to form his own design firm, Love From, after 2 decades almost. After 23 years running what was arguably the most successful design operation in business history, few on the outside knew that for years Mr. Ive had been growing more distant from Apple's leadership, say people close to the company. Mr. Jobs' protege and Apple's closest thing to a living embodiment of his spirit grew frustrated inside a more operations-focused company led by Chief Executive Tim Cook. Mr. Ive, now 52, withdrew from routine management of Apple's elite design team, leaving it rudderless, increasingly inefficient, and ultimately weakened by a string of departures, people close to the company say. The internal drama explains a lot about Apple's dilemma. It's one major new product of the post-Jobs era, the Apple Watch, made its debut 5 years ago. Its iPhone business is faltering, and more recent releases like its wireless AirPods haven't been enough to shore up following sales. It hasn't had a mega hit new product since the iPad that started selling in 2010. Apple remains enormously profitable, however, and far larger than the company Mr. Jobs left behind. Its earnings topped $30 billion for the first half of the fiscal year. Apple's association with Mr. Ive will continue. The company will pay his new firm millions of dollars a year to continue to work with Apple, people familiar with the arrangement said, yet his departure from the company does cement the triumph of operations over design at Apple. A fundamental shift from a business driven by hardware wizardry to one focused on maintaining profit margins and leveraging Apple's past hardware success to sell software and services. The story of Mr. Ive's drift is based on conversations over more than a year with people who work with Mr. Ive as well as people close to Apple's leadership. Mr. Cook, an industrial engineer who made his name perfecting Apple's supply chain, sought to keep Mr. Ive happy over the years and part with a pay package that far exceeds that of other top Apple executives. A point of friction with others on the executive team, people familiar with the matter say Apple doesn't disclose Mr. Ive's pay, but people in the design studio rarely saw Mr. Cook, who they showed little interest in the product development process, a fact that dispirited Mr. Ive. So it seems that, Mr. Jony Ive has decided to stop being the head designer. Well, he's still going to be the designer. Okay, look, here's what I noticed. Like Tim Cook, they saying he's more focused on making the money than the design and the software of the product, which it definitely shows because there hasn't been a lot of new shit, just like the article said. You know what I'm saying? So, we were used to seeing Apple busting out shit like every 6 months, every year, and now they're trying to meter it out. They're doing the thing where they're trying to get the most money out of each product, and they're just doing a lot of updates to the same shit. That's been real obvious, and it's not a huge surprise because most people who, you know what I'm saying, were familiar with, you know, who Apple is as a company knew that, you know, the day that Steve Jobs passed, shit was never going to be the same. I mean, it was already probably, going a certain direction when he got sick before he actually passed. So, there was only a matter of time before things did change, after his death. And this is probably one of those first things, in a long line of things that are going to change. Even though, like they said, Apple is a very profitable company right now, I will admit that, ever since, Steve Jobs has passed and, Tim Cook has taken over, I'm just not surprised that this happened at all. But they did say that Jony Ive was gonna still, with the company that he's starting, he is gonna have a contract with Apple, so they're probably just gonna keep resubmitting the same basic, Apple iPhone design with maybe minimal improvements just to keep customers happy enough for them to find it financially reasonable to continue paying him and his firm. But yeah, like I said, I'm not surprised. I'd be very interested to see, what kind of new, how far in between new shit is even now. Because, even the Apple AirPods, they're not the fucking most greatest shit. They're cool, but I'm sorry. I feel like I would lose them shit. Maybe it's because I'm a clumsy person. I'm one of them people, whenever I wear headphones or earbuds, I'm one of those people where one of my earbuds always falls out. Maybe it's because my ear holes are shaped weird or whatever, but I don't want to pay that much money to lose a pair of headphones that don't have earbuds that don't have a wire to them, so I can at least use that as a leash on them. That's just my personal opinion about AirPods. I'm not trying to sit up on my soapbox and shit on AirPods. I'm sure they're a beautiful machination of, representation of modern technology, but I don't want them. I don't want them at all. And our last story for today's Nerd News Update. As you will find out in a second on the digital download, Spider-Man Far From Home had an early release this week. As a matter of fact, midnight of this morning or last night, depending on how you like to look at midnight, it was released, and already just the mid-credit and the end-credit scenes alone already have fans in a fucking frenzy. And I've also because I haven't seen the movie yet, but I've also heard that the trailers don't reveal shit about what's going on in this movie. So all in all, definitely gotta hit this shit up. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and just segue into today's digital download. It's not a huge digital download. Today's digital download includes in the video game section, we got Final Fantasy XIV, which is what, is that 9 or is that 14? Yeah. Final Fantasy 14 Shadowbringers, available on PlayStation 4 and PC today. In the movie section, Spider-Man Far From Home is coming out already just came out this morning, and a movie called Midsummer comes out tomorrow on July the 3rd. And that is all for today's digital download. For today's Did You Know Factoid of the Day, as you guys know, we give you a brand new factoid of the day. It's something most people don't know, that we try to find little trivial pieces of information and relate them to you guys so you can seem 1% smarter to someone who you just met. No, I'm just playing. But it does help with that. In 1991, when I was old 1-year-old spaceship, Wayne Aldwin, the voice of Mickey Mouse, married Russi Taylor, the voice of Minnie Mouse. Dig that. Mickey and Minnie got married in real life and in the cartoons and shit. So that was today's Did You Know? Now, on to today's topic. Let's be real. Today's topic is fucking Spider-Man, all right? I'm just finding my way to sprinkle Spider-Man in all of this episode. Like I said, I love Spider-Man, and I'm definitely hyped about seeing this new movie. I'm actually getting ready to watch Spidey Into the Spideyverse on Netflix since it just came out, and because I just found that it got nominated for an Oscar and shit, so I'm like, damn, this movie must be better than I thought. I kind of felt some type of way that the Black Spider-Man had to only be in an animated movie, but whatever. So yeah, I'm definitely stoked about this movie. I'm also kind of psyched about the fact that since the movie has come out, PlayStation 4 has added some new suits to the PlayStation 4, the Spider-Man game on PlayStation 4. Which, if you ever played it, the suits sometimes can make or break how you win or lose in a fight, especially against like a bunch of bad guys. Whenever they hit you with them swarms of motherfuckers, and you got to kill like 10 or 15 of them bitches. Like, them suits really make or break it. Like, my favorite one is the one that makes you, give you a bit like when you jump up and it shoots the web in like multiple directions and knocks the shit out of everybody. One of my favorite ones, bar none. But Sony has added 2 new skins or suits or whatever you like to call them to the Spider-Man game. So if you have the game, make sure you hit that DLC up and make sure you get that. Because they probably gonna be fire shit, because they're supposed to be suits that give you the ability to do shit that happened in the movie. So, you know, you're probably gonna want to go and see the movie to really bring to life what the suits can really do and shit like that. So make sure you guys check that out. Like I said, I love Spider-Man so much that I'm dedicating this whole episode to Spider-Man, because like I like how Spider-Man is one of those, he's a nerd's. He's designed for nerds. Like, cause Spider-Man, just like Static Shock in DC Universe, a smart kid, very nerdy, but you know what? And one of my buddies was the first to reveal this to me, and ever since then, I've noticed it about everything Spider-Man's in. He's one of those superheroes that no matter how much he's getting his ass whooped, he is gonna talk shit all the way to the end of that fight, no matter what. And as a real nigga, I can't help do nothing but respect that. You know what I mean? But that's all for today's episode, guys. My name is Space. I was here, but now I'm